So hello guys, welcome back to Python for Beginners series. In this video, we will dive into the fundamental concepts of variables and data types in Python. Understanding these concepts is crucial as they form the building blocks of any programming language. So let's get started. First, let's talk about variables. In Python, a variable is a named container used to store data. You can think of it as a named box that holds a value. To create a variable, we use the assignment operator. Let's see how we do it. So, for example, say we want to create a variable named my variable. So we give it my variable and we give it the value 10. Now here we have created a variable named my variable and assigned it the value 10 with the help of the assignment operator. Now you can name your variables as you like, but you should keep in mind certain naming conventions and rules that we are going to discuss. A variable can have a short name, like say, we can also give it a name v, that is also a valid variable name, or a more descriptive name, like we have given my variable. Now, there are some rules for naming a variable. The first of all, a variable name can only start with a number or underscore. So, this my variable or my underscore my variable is valid names, are both valid names. Now, as I said, as a variable can only start with underscore or a number, there is no question of a variable starting with anything else, not even a number. It can only start with the alphabet or a underscore, of alphabet or underscore. Now, another rule is that a variable name can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscore. That is to say, var2 underscore is a valid variable name, whereas var2 underscore, if I give it some other names and other characters like special characters, these are not allowed. No special characters except for the underscore sign are allowed while naming a variable. Python supports different data types, and two common numeric types are integers known as int and floating point numbers known as float. Integers are whole numbers without decimal places, whereas floating point numbers have decimal places. For example, 2 is an integer, whereas 2.0 is a floating point number. For example, let's just create an integer called my integer. So here we will create an integer called my integer and we will assign it the value 2. So as you can see, 2 is an integer value. It is a whole number without a decimal point and it has been assigned to the variable my integer with the help of the assignment operator. Now let us assign a float. Assigning a float, it is very similar to assigning an integer. I will just copy this comment from over here so that you guys can easily understand the code. Now let us create a variable called my float and assign it the value 10.0. As you can see, my float, the variable, has the value 10.0. This decimal right over here means that this value is a floating point number. And if I hover my mouse over my float, it tells that my float is a float as known in Python. Now, let's check we can also check the types of a particular variable. So there's a inbuilt function in Python that is called the print function. Remember to keep the p small because Python is case sensitive. That means a capital P print is different than a small p print. Now let us create a print is a function. So to call a function, you just give the function name and then the curly braces, the parenthesis. Now as you can see, print is an inbuilt function in Python and inside this I can give a value. For example, let's say I want to print my integer. I print my integer and again I'll just do the same thing with my float. And now if I run this file, if you now if I run this file, you will see 2 and 10.0 being printed. If you don't know how to run this or all of this, you can check my tutorial on VS Code for that. As you can see, I get the values. Oh, sorry. I get the values 2 and 2. Actually, I printed my integer twice. Let's do my float. And now if we run this, we get 2 and 10.0. So we can also get the type of a particular variable in Python. Python has an inbuilt function known as type. And if I call this function and close the brackets over here, we will get it is an integer and it's the same thing over here and this. Now if I run this file, I shall get class int and class float. That means the first value 2 is an integer and the second value 10.0 is a floating point number or a float as known in Python. Another important data type is string. A string or a str as known in Python is a text enclosed in single quotation marks or double quotation marks. So let us just create a string variable. We will give it the name my string and we will assign it the value hello world. Now, as you can see, this right over here, my IDE tells me that this is a special, this is a string, and these quotation marks mark that. Now, I can also use single quotation marks. As you can see, it still works, and both are valid. Now, as you tried earlier, we can also check the type of this string, the type of this variable, and also we can print this variable. So let's just do the same thing. To save my time, I'll just copy this and paste this, remove the type for once, and let's just run this. Now, if I run this, you shall see class A and class 4 from earlier. And sorry, I'm printing my float. I should print my string. Errors. Humans only make errors, so we are bound to make them. Now, hello world. We can see hello world is printed. Now, if I try to print the type of this, so I print type of the string and I get class string as you can see. Now another important useful feature in Python are called the comments. Now as you can see right over here, these are simple sentences and Python is not throwing any error. That means, but it should not be able to understand that. The thing is that these are sentences starting with a hash and a hash in Python indicates that everything after this and before the new line character is a comment and Python just ignores this part. So to create a comment, you just give a hash in the starting and then you type whatever you want to type. Okay, so comments are very useful if you want to make your code readable. Now, there are also, these are single line comments. There are also multi-line comments. We can create multi-line comments by just using the quotation marks that we just talked about, and we can use them three quotation marks together, make a multi-line comment. Now, if I type hello world, Python will also just ignore this. So as you can see, if I just run this file, it will just run as smoothly as it was running earlier. Now, see the same result. Python just ignores this because this is a comment. But if I try doing the same thing here, if I try doing the same thing here, I type something, this won't work. Why? Because a hash is a single line commit and I will get an error. Now, as you can see, what is the error? It is a name error. Name this is not defined. Python says that this is not being defined anywhere. This is undefined. So that is why we use the single line comments wherever we need comments for a single line and the multi-line comments wherever we need a multi-line comment. The multi-line comments are the hash are the quotation marks, triple quotation marks, and the single line comments are the hash. Now, if now I'll just copy one thing over here that so that you guys remember this. That is that both the single quotation marks and the double quotation marks are valid for creating a string. Lastly, we have the Boolean data type. The Boolean data types are the true or false values. They are useful when using conditional statements or something like that where we need one answer, yes or no. So let's just create a Boolean value, true and false. So to create a Boolean value, the process is very simple. Let's just say the first value that we want to create is Python easy? Is Python fun? So let's just say is Python fun? Now is Python fun? It is true. Yes, Python is fun. And say, as you can see, it is highlighted in my environment. That means that it is a special Python keyword. Now, as you can see, true. And as I told you earlier, Python is a case sensitive language. So if I write true with a small t, this will throw an error that true is not defined. That is why I need to write a true with a capital T. In the similar manner, I can create is learning easy. So guys, what do you think will be the answer? You're right. Learning is of course not easy. It requires a lot of hard work. And I will just paste another comment right over here so that you guys have no problem in reading this code. And that comment is true and true are different because Python is a case sensitive language. So let's just do the same thing we did earlier. We will print both the variables. We will print Just a moment, guys. Yep. So we'll print is Python fun, and we will do the same thing with learning is learning easy. We will just do is learning easy, learning easy. And if I run this file, so say I'm learning, running this file, I wait for a few seconds, and then I shall get the answer true for the first time and learning false. As you can see, true and false. Now let's just comment this area out because we don't need to print this much. So you can see another useful feature of Python, that is commenting. So if I don't want something to print execute every time, but I still need it in my document, so I can use the comments. Now, is Python fun? Yes. Now let's just check the type of this variable. We shall do the same thing over here. We shall do type print type is learning easy. What do you think will be the answer, guys? So as you can see, the type is bool, which in Python means boolean. Boolean in Python is known as bool. Now, let me show you a few other things. There, as we talked earlier, let us just summarize. There are four main data types in Python. Int, integer values, that are whole decimal places without decimal places, whole numbers without decimal places. Next, we have floats or float in Python. They are the floating point numbers or whole numbers with decimal places. Thirdly, we have strings. As you can see above, strings. Strings are enclosed in double or single quotation marks and they represent text values in Python. Fourthly, we have Boolean values, which are the true or false values, which actually in Python mean 0 or 1. These are useful when using conditional statements and things like that. So thanks for watching the video, guys. Understanding these concepts is going to be very crucial in a Python journey. So stay tuned on this series. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your family and friends. Also subscribe to the channel for more updates. See you in the next video where we will be discussing control flow and decision making in Python. So see you in the next video, guys. Till then, stay tuned.